Alright, this is the 4th time I've started this. There is no escape. Welcome back to Sutton Hobby Farm. If you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, we're going to talk a little bit about pros and cons of living on a homestead. I don't like the word homestead. I've never ever referred to our home as our homestead. It's always just been our house or our farm. Never homestead, but you know, in all means of searching and finding this video, it's labeled homestead. Oh good, there's a goat out. Tootsie, are you lost, ma'am? Where are you going? She's gonna demonstrate how little goats should have electric fencing. Oh, found a spot. Okay, going for it. And she's in. Anyways, so first of all, to start off, I'd like to explain a little bit how our farm works and some of the things that we do around here so you can kind of compare it to what you're thinking about doing. So our farm is just under 16 acres and we are pretty much in the middle of cornfields, and our driveway is about a half a mile long. As far as our yard goes, I would say we're somewhere around the 5-acre range of actual mowing yard. And then we have some tillable land that we lease out to a local farmer, and that is about it. We've got a creek running through. Nearest town is about 10 minutes to the nearest gas station. If you want to go to Walmart, that's about 20 minutes. It's not too far, but that might be a really long ways for some people. We've lived on our farm for, well, it'll be 10 years this year. Finding our farm was not simple at all. We looked for probably close to 3 years before we found this place. When we did find it, it was a mess. It was overgrown. Nobody had lived here for years. The house needed bulldozed, but the loan that we could get did not allow for that, so we had to completely gut it out and start from scratch. New electrical, plumbing, all of it. It was just studs and a roof, basically. And it was a year's worth of horrible work, but it was worth every single bit of it. And that is probably the norm. I mean, it's really hard to find a place that is out and on its own like this with land and a house. It's just really, really hard to find. Now, a few other things that we have going on. My side of this place is the farm side, and I have 21 goats, a pig, a horse, some turkeys, some chickens, a bunny, just a bunch of random stuff. I also like to attempt to garden. Not the greatest at it, but I try. And then for my husband's side, Cody has a garage and he is a diesel mechanic and he's constantly tinkering with engines and that sort of thing. We love to hunt. When time allows, we do some fishing. I would say the biggest upside of us living out here, for me anyways, is just simply our freedom and just getting to do whatever we want, whenever we want, being as loud as we want, and no one caring, not being seen by nosy neighbors. We just don't have that out here, and that is my favorite part. I get to do all of the And aside from the loud animal noises and my husband's periodic engine roar, it is very quiet and peaceful out here. With those freedoms, we don't have to ask to, you know, put up a swimming pool or build a new building, or we don't have to ask to do anything like that. It's whatever we want to do, we just do it, and that is awesome. We have the freedoms to grow as much of our own food as we want. Obviously, that all takes time, so I don't grow a whole lot of it. We have enough land that we can hunt on our own property, and we actually get to harvest our own meat. We hunt deer. So the majority of the meat in our freezer is from what we've harvested or what we've grown. So those are the upsides. Now, the cons. Now this list might be bad for some of you, might be not so bad. Who knows? I would say the hardest part about the way that we live, for me anyways, would be dealing with loss. Anytime you're raising animals, you have to deal with the death part. It's just a part of farm life. So that is probably one of the hardest parts for me, mostly because I'm the one who's, you know, so engrossed in them and spending all the time with them, you get attached. Now that's just the unexpected losses. Now obviously if you're raising an animal that you intend to butcher, then you kind of build that wall and you just keep yourself from being attached if it's possible. It can be very stressful. Just making sure that everyone is fed and everyone is healthy, making sure that the maintenance is done in the way that it should be. And obviously those costs of taking care of the animals, it's not just animal cost. I mean, my husband has to mow and take care of the driveway and all of the stuff that has to be done with equipment, and that all takes maintenance and fuel and a lot of little expenses of its own. So it can become pretty costly. If you're afraid of work, you probably shouldn't try this. It's not a lazy kind of life, that's for sure. I mean, you don't have to have the amount of animals that I do, obviously, and I don't really have that many. There are farms that have, you know, hundreds of animals, and they hire people because they have so much work. And then there's some that don't have any animals. They might just be okay with a garden. But the more animals you have, the more work you have. So I am pretty much at capacity with my 50-something animals. Right, Daisy? With that being said, another downside to having all of those animals is the fact that they need you every single day. You can't just take off. You can't go on a trip. You can't be gone for 12 hours and just leave them to their own devices. It's not a good idea at all. So keep in mind, with the living creatures, you have to have someone that you depend on. If it's a family member or a friend or just someone that you have hired, it's very important to have that and be sure that you can depend on that person. Then one of the number one things that most people would have trouble with is the fact that you are alone, aside from your family, obviously. There's no... Daisy, what are you doing? You don't get the interaction. You don't have friends that can just walk down the street and say hi. You don't have that at all. So unless they're picking up a phone and calling you, you don't really have anyone other than who you live with. And sometimes that can be amazing and sometimes that can be horrible. So you can get sick of people real easily. It happens, especially brothers and sisters. But for me, that's one of my favorite parts. So I'm not a people person. I've never been a people person. And I enjoy the fact that I can walk outside and know that no one is staring at me. I see quite often is people believe that they can start this lifestyle and uproot from their day job and just be a farmer. And maybe if you know, strike it rich, win the lottery, and you can buy a bunch of land and be at capacity that you need to make a profit, then yes, you could do that. But in most cases, that's not going to happen. So we both work. My husband and I both work. He works full-time. I work full-time. And without those jobs, we would not be living this life that is 100% dependent on our day jobs. So please don't fall into the category of I'm quitting my job and starting a farm, because it's not that easy. Here's a little tidbit of what the kids and Cody had to say about our lifestyle. I have a question. Riley.
What?
What's your favorite part about living out here?
I like living out here because we have a lot of space and a lot of space for animals, and it's away from people.
Beautiful. Now, what's your least favorite part?
I know what he's gonna say. I know what he's gonna say. The internet is trash. No, I know. The internet is trash.
He's not lying. The internet is trash. It takes us 3 days to get a video up on YouTube. All right, Miranda, what's your favorite part?
It's kind of the same answer as Riley's. When you're living in like a city or a town, there's lots of loud noises all the time. And here there's not many loud noises except my dad doing
the loud
stuff.
noises are our loud noises,
Yeah.
right? That's a good one. What do you not like about being out here?
Most of my friends don't know where I live because we live out in the country, and they like can't really find us. So that's one of the downfalls.
Hey,
They can find us. It's just really far away
I have one
for all of
more
them.
thing to add to my least favorite things.
Oh, yeah?
Out here is that I don't get to see my friends as often because we live all the way out here.
Right.
And they all live in town.
We can't just walk down the street and see someone, can we?
Yeah.
But you know what? It works both ways, because at least, you know, weird neighbors we don't just like walk up to the house
Yeah.
whenever they
And
want.
be like, hey.
Hey, what's going on today? Nope, that doesn't happen here. Would you rather stay where you are or move to the city?
Why?
Stay where I am. God.
In the middle. Because I want to see my friends and stuff, but
I don't think we'd see them in the city. Your friends don't live in the city. They live in
I
town.
mean town. I mean town.
live in town.
A town. Just. So Riley's on the fence about it, and Miranda says no way. Okay, thanks.
Hi.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Queen.
What would you say is the hardest thing about living out here, where we do?
The driveway management. How long of a driveway we have?
Just as in the labor of it, or the cost, or everything? Being attacked?
Yes, by ants.
Oh. Need me to go get your pen?
No.
He's allergic to bees. We have a few of those out here
What
too.
was the question again?
Is it hard taking care of it, or is it hard paying for it, or what is the hardest?
Both.
Equally both. Okay.
Yes.
Is that it? Is that the hardest thing you have?
Yard management. How much acreage we have?
Mowing,
Yes. Pain in the
weed
butt.
eating,
Yep. Spraying.
which I don't like you to do, but it has to be done sometimes because we
Yes.
can't handle it all.
Other than that, it's fantastic.
Anything else, like emotionally, mentally? Is there anything bad about being out here?
Nope.
Socially?
I'm not a very social person, so love it out here.
He calls me the hermit.
Mm.
Okay, so what's your favorite part?
My shop. The quietness. Yeah, nobody around.
Okay.
Can I say going outside taking a pee without any neighbors?
Yeah, your son does that too.
Yeah.
He didn't mention that part, but I'm sure he's happy about that one.
Do pretty much whatever we want out here. Anytime.
We don't do anything illegal.
Not at all.
Okay, now the question I asked your children, would you rather be here or in the city?
Oh, here definitely.
Okay. That is all. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Queen.
So would I trade it? Would I live in town if I had the choice? Nope, not in a million years. You could not pay me to live in a town. You could not pay me to live just outside of a town. Couldn't happen.